Hello, class, and welcome to our first lesson that's being delivered remotely. Um, to start off the year, we're going to be talking about how people earn money and the different ways that we can calculate those things, just to get a better idea of, realistically when we're thinking about picking up a job and we're given some details about the job, we can kind of make some predictions as to how much money we can actually be making. So, let's start with hourly rates. So, an hourly rate is, say, how much money you make per hour. And you can fill in the blank. But, we can talk about a rate with a fraction bar. And the units would be money per hour. Hourly rate, okay? Let me give you an example. This summer, I worked at a bait and tackle shop, and my hourly rate, I would earn $10 per hour. It was a $10 per hour job, okay? Now, something we could do is, well, let me figure out how much money I make in a given week. So let's say I worked 30 hours in the week. The way to figure out how much money I'd make in the whole week is I'd multiply my hourly rate by how many hours I worked. And mathematically, it's kind of interesting since we're using a fraction here. Let's say, my age is equal to rate times time, okay? Think about it that way. So my wage in this case, $10 an hour times 30 hours. The hours cancel out, and I'm left with 30 times $10. That's $300. So I would make $300 in a given week, okay? Hourly rate times time worked. Let's do another example. Let's say I worked a job that made $8.50 per hour. And let's say I was only given 20 hours a week at my part-time job. Well, per week, my wage would be $8.50 per hour times 20 hours. And you can feel free to use a calculator. In some instances, that's just quite fine whenever we're doing consumer math. But I would multiply 8.5 by 20, and I would find out that I would make $170 in a given week. Because remember, these hours cancel out. 850 times 20. Okay, so then it might be helpful for us to figure out our annual wage for an hourly job, a part-time job, annual wage. There are some jobs where you receive an hourly rate that are full-time being 40 hours per week, and you might even get paid vacation and things like that. But for our instances, I'm talking about part-time jobs like sales associates, or maybe you're working as a cook at a restaurant. Typically, those are part-time jobs, and there's nothing wrong with that. But very quickly, we'll be able to figure out how much we can make in a given year. And as an estimation, let's say we're only working for 50 weeks. So this accounts for unpaid vacation and maybe unpaid sick time, okay? This is just an estimation. We're working 50 weeks. Well, let me take my bait shop job up here, where I would make $300 in a given week. So my annual wage would be equal to, well, my weekly wage, which was $10 an hour for 30 hours a week, for 50 weeks. Okay? So watch how I do this. Because 30 hours per week, that's a rate also. Rate times time. Okay? Hours cancel out and weeks cancel out. What am I left with? 10 times 30 times 50. Well, 10 times 30, as we know, is 300. We figured that out up above. $300 times 50. So then in the year, if I did this job all year round, I'd make about $15,000. Okay, that's not bad for a part-time job, but you got to think, sometimes that's not enough to live off of. And even more, here's another example then. Let's do the other job. That's an actual rate that I received as a shoe salesman a long time ago. In that case, my annual wage is $8.50 per hour. And remember, I'm only working 20 hours a week. And let's say I am able to do this year round because somehow that's going to be enough money for me. Well, we know that $8.50 times 20, that's $170 per week times 50.